Afternoon, everybody. Me again, Shannon Fox here, the Road to Patriots 2 channel, and I have got some news for you today. A couple things going on in the world definitely need to be discussed. First off, we're going to get into some Chris Cuomo and Steve Bannon discussing the CPAC straw polls about who will be our next candidate for 2028. And Steve Bannon's answer doesn't surprise me none, but Steve Bannon's answer kind of sends you off down a rabbit hole if you want to go that way with how can this be possible. And before I get into telling you what I'm talking about, let's go ahead and start the video. It has something to do with Trump getting back in there one more time. Here we go.
So the only thing that you're not going to like talking about, we'll talk about first. I'm watching CPAC, and they put up a poll of potential, next generation, right? Post-Trump. You are second on the list after the VP as people getting the nod at CPAC to be president. A lot of people were surprised by this. My first question, you have anything to do with putting your name in that list because you have presidential ambitions?
No. And President Trump, I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
And obviously, anybody who doesn't like what you say but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. He's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that. We'll see. We'll see what the definition. We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
All right. Well, so you're talking about litigating this issue because I don't want people to listen to our interview and say Bannon's cooking up an insurrection. Bannon is cooking up. You know what I mean? I want people to get a straight take on where your head is. What are you suggesting?
Chris, as you know, I've had greater long shots than this. When we supported President Trump after the election, I realize you don't believe the election in 2020 was stolen. We do. We fervently believe that. When President Trump went back to Mar-a-Lago on January 20th, 2021, he was the longest of long shots to return to the White House. We said that day in our podcast and doubled down having President Trump's back, that he was coming back not just to win the primary, he would win the White House, and we had to get organized and drive that victory and also start working on all the policies, what's called Project 2025 or the America First Policy Institute, but all those different think tanks that started putting in the policies that you're seeing today in what we call Flood the Zone or Days of Thunder or however you want to describe it. But this is many years in the making. So we've had greater long shots than Trump 2028, and we've got a lot of stuff we're working on there. We're not prepared to talk about it publicly, but in a couple of months, I think we will be.
Don't give it up, Steve. Don't tell them too much because then they'll be trying to fight it with litigation. That's the truth of the matter. Now, Steve Bannon has spouted off many times that Trump is going to be able to run again because he didn't get 2 consecutive terms, talking about getting legislation passed through Congress. That's one way to do it. I don't know if they'll ever have the numbers to do that, but who knows after midterms what we're going to be dealing with as far as our numbers, because it's definitely we're going to get bigger, better numbers than what we've got already in the House and the Senate. But there's also this group called the Third Term Project, and they advocate for working towards getting Trump elected in 2028. It says the Third Term Project explores constitutional amendment to allow Trump's third term. The Third Term Project represents a controversial push to amend the U.S. Constitution 22nd Amendment, which currently limits president to 2 terms. What they're trying to do is get it to where they say you can do as many as 3 terms if the first one and the second one are not consecutive. That's what they're trying to do. I don't know how that will work, but it is definitely an organization to be watching out for. And here we go. The Third Term Project is at CPAC and observed overwhelming support for Trump in 2028. Americans want Trump to finish the job. All right, let's see what these guys have to say.
Connected directly inside of the cabinet, or have contacts that this would be an official bid for a third term, or are you guys just trying to raise awareness as activists?
Raising awareness as activists right now. Trump has brought up that if the public demands it and the rules are changed, such as with Representative Andy Ogl's amendment that's been proposed, that Trump would step up to the plate. So we are confident that he would step up to the plate if we get to that point. We have not been in contact with officially with the administration. We're building the grassroots groundswell that will lead eventually to President Trump's third term.
Are you looking?
I ain't mad at you. You hear that, folks? Trump said he'd do it again if he had to. If it was possible, if they can make it happen, and the American people want it. Hey, I know he's getting up there in age, or will be in 4 more years, but the man has got more energy than I do. At 80, I guess he's about 80 years old, so I wouldn't put nothing past Trump. He may live to be 120. He may live to be as old as some of them Social Security recipients that were getting paid until Doge showed up. All right, folks, let's get into some other things here. But yes, folks, this is a real thing. They're kind of not talking about it too much so they don't get shut down. But at the same time, they're trying to let people know, maybe when it gets closer to midterms, they're going to let people know that if we push to change the law to where we can have Trump in again, I'm for it. I wouldn't complain about it. All right, folks, here we go. Got the great Stephen Miller. I play a lot of this guy. If you would listen to my channel, even occasionally, you've probably seen Stephen Miller on here. He is Trump's chief policy advisor. One of the smartest guys in the White House, just my opinion, but that's what I have to believe at this point. All right, let me scoot him over.
The Department of Education here in Washington, D.C. is...
Oh, before I forget, this is about Trump signing an executive order today, basically dismantling the Department of Education, just because it's run by a bunch of leftists and that have been overspending, getting overpaid, not doing their job properly, and failing as administrators to even get the test scores up anywhere in the country to something that's even subpar. It's really bad. Our education system is pretty much shot. Most kids, if they graduate high school, they're lucky if they can read, and it's not the way it was when I was there. But at any rate, all right, let's get into this.
Overwhelmingly staffed by radical left Marxist bureaucrats who are in every way hostile to Western civilization, hostile to American interests, and hostile to our founding documents and culture. And so they are using their position and influence inside the Department of Education to try to force agendas like radical gender ideology, like critical race theory, like diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all kinds of anti-America curricula and policies on the American people, on our students, on our children. So it's taking away from parents the ability to control and direct the education of their own kids, of their own families. So what we're going to do under President Trump's leadership and direction is to return that authority to the greatest extent possible to the local level where parents can control outcomes, while at the same time making sure that no federal funds are used to support racism, to support gender ideology, or support other ideas and principles that are offensive to the American taxpayer.
I agree 100%. Trump signed the executive order today. The left is screaming mad. Somebody going to be suing to try to stop it with an injunction. It'll get delayed. We'll have to wait on it to get kicked up to a higher court if we end up with a screwball judge. But this lawfare thing is just like Trump was attacked the entire time since he announced his candidacy, with all this lawfare, the 90-something cases against him, the 700 years, the 5 jurisdictions, cases in 5 different jurisdictions. It was ridiculous what they did to Trump. Well, they're trying to do it to Trump and Elon again with all these injunctions to stop them from being able to do their job. And we all know this by now, but there's got to be some kind of resolution to this. But I would say if you can't fire people, tell them come on in. We'll pay you for 10 minutes a week. There you go. Paycheck will be in the mail. See, there's ways to deal with this. Well, if you can't deport these illegals that are here illegally, like the Tren de Aragua, because of some judge's order, while we're waiting on it to go through the court system, maybe we can get these gang members to sign a release form that says they want to go home by making their life so miserable while they're in our custody here that they'll get deported of their own volition or their own willingness to go, and then they can't stop, and then the courts can't stop it. See, there's workarounds to a lot of these things that they're trying to play games with Trump and Elon with. There's more ways. One way to skin a cat. I thought of this yesterday. There's several things that Trump and Elon could do to circumvent the bullshit that's going on with the stopping, the injunctions, and all that crap. They could do a workaround. Just takes a little creativity, and I'm sure they'll get to it if necessary. But hopefully, these judges will be put down. At figure speech, will be put down with their progressive ideas and be called out for it and exposed, and conflict of interest somehow should be able to kick in and get these judges removed, get the case moved to another court, possibly the case dismissed, uh, over so many different things that they've got going on. They're trying to stop Elon from digging into things. They're trying to stop the deportation of the criminals. They're trying to stop Trump with every single thing he does. Um, every time Trump or Elon do anything, whether it's an executive order or a Doge in a new agency, we get a lawsuit, and that's just the way it's going to go, folks. I don't see this ending anytime soon. It is what it is. It doesn't really stop anything because Trump's going to win most of these in the end, but it slows down the process, and that's the whole crappy part of the situation. Slows down the process. It basically quagmires it. While you wait on judges to make decisions, and you wait on other courts to pick up the cases, it's ridiculous. All right, I got several video clips here. I wanted to talk to you about all these firebombings that happened with Elon Musk cars and at the dealerships, and people doxing now Tesla owners. There's a lot of violence, hatred, Molotov cocktails flying through the air at Teslas. Several things going on that are beyond protest. They're acts of violence, acts of terrorism in the name of politics. If you're trying to destroy somebody in the name of politics, uh, doesn't that kind of fall into a hate crime? Just saying. Well, Jessica Tarlov, this crazy idiot on the Five, she gets served pretty well, but she is the lefty on the show, and we got to watch Gutfield tear her up. Just because I can't believe she's this stupid or this brainwashed. Maybe it's just a job to her. I don't know, but this is definitely a neat intro into the rest of the video. Here we go.
You guys know, I think Elon Musk has done a tremendous amount of good. I think Starlink is one of the more exciting modern discoveries or creations that there is. I, again, reiterate, I draw the line at arson. No one should be setting cars on fire. But I would argue, no, this is an important point. It's a free market point. But also, we talked about Dylan Mulvaney, a single trans influencer who was on a single can of beer for months. And that can of beer set the conservative movement on proverbial fire, rooting against at least half an American company, the Anheuser-Busch side of things. Kid Rock out there doing target practice with Budweiser cans, people vowing to decimate that brand. And Dylan Mulvaney has much less of an impact on people's lives than Elon Musk does. So is that okay? Or that was wrong too, and everyone wants
Wow.
to mea culpa over that? It was one can of beer with one transgender person on it.
No one was intimidated not to buy Bud Light.
Really? Then why did it drop?
No,
why did they lose market value?
Because it wasn't Dylan Mulvaney. It was the marketing person who denigrated the people who drank the beer.
Really, Dylan Mulvaney didn't get denigrated?
She did. He did.
Sorry.
I correct myself.
This girl is something else. The whole thing is on Gutfeld as of earlier today, but she's on the wrong side of the tracks when it comes to that story. Elon Musk Elon Musk company and Elon Musk is a victim of this hate speech, hate crime, terrorism, and vandalism. I mean, it's a lot of things, but it's all criminal, and there's no doubt about it. You can't conflate these two like Jessica Tarlov. It's not the same. This is about trying to destroy the value of Elon's company. We're not having it. And so we've got a breaking news story for you folks. Just come out a couple of hours ago. Pam Bondi has got to work. She already is taking names and kicking ass. They got these people on video camera doing this destructive nature on these vehicles. These Tesla cars have cameras in them. These dealerships have cameras in them, or outside in the parking lots. There's so many different people caught in just the last couple of days spitting on Teslas, keying Teslas, Molotov cocktails on the Teslas, shooting out Tesla windows. It's ridiculous, folks, and we have got some suspects in custody, I do believe, arrested. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of Kevin O'Leary first. He wanted to weigh in on the subject. He lays it down on Tim Walsh as well.
I think go back to point one. When you set a car on fire, you should go to jail. You're a criminal.
Yeah.
Any car,
I don't think we have to
actually.
talk
Yeah,
about it
not
in any
just
other
Tesla.
context. And all those cars have cameras in them, and those dealerships have cameras. You're beyond being stupid when you do that. You're going to go to jail, and you now have a government that just got their mandate. They can't wait to find idiots that do this. You're going to spend 5 to 20 years in prison. If they get them on terrorism, which I think is a stretch, they will have no parole, no shortened sentence. They'll rot in hell in prison for 20 years. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. Breaking in, shooting a car, setting on fire, nothing to do with the politics, nothing to do with Tesla. You are a criminal, and you should go
what about the broader
to
question
jail.
about the protest factor? I mean, you heard
What
Tim Walz.
protest? You're a criminal.
I'm talking about Tim Walz and his comments about the Tesla stock. He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. I mean, what's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in his state.
I mean,
that's their
to
investment
your
fund.
point,
What a bozo.
The minute
Yeah, Tim Walz ain't very smart, folks. All opinion, no brain. Now, here we go. Here is the news. Just in, Attorney General Pam Bondi announces several severe federal charges against 3 Tesla arsonists. The days of committing crimes without consequences have ended. These are people throwing the fire bombs, I guess, the Molotov cocktails. The Trump administration has delivered brutal news to the scumbags torching Tesla cars and dealerships across the country. The Attorney General, Ms. Bondi, announced this afternoon that her office has charged 3 individuals with serious offenses. Each one of the lowlife used Molotov cocktails to set Tesla dealerships and cars ablaze. The days of committing crimes without consequences have ended, Bondi said in a statement. Let this be a warning. If you join the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars. The first accused domestic terrorist was arrested after throwing 8 Molotov cocktails at a Salem, Oregon Tesla dealership. She was also armed with an AR-15. Damn. The second suspect was arrested at Loveland, Colorado, after using Molotov cocktails to set fire to multiple Teslas. Authorities later discovered that an individual had possession of material used to produce additional incendiary weapons. The final perp wrote vulgar messages targeting President Trump before lighting charging stations on fire in South Carolina. These folks are caught on camera, identified, and going to jail. It says here, yeah, Attorney General Pam Bondi announces severe charges. These folks are going to get up 5 to 20 years apiece. Come on with it. And if you're curious, this is what they look like. And I'm thinking these two right here are dudes. Yeah, I'm thinking Jordan and Darnell are dudes. He's got his Adam's apple covered up with a choker. And then this here, he maybe just got his tie-dyed shirt on. I don't know what to think about him either. But if he firebombed a Tesla, his ass is going to prison. These folks are facing up to 20 years. Let's make an example out of these three, see if we can get to slow down a little bit. If not, just start rounding them all up, because there's several of them that are on video in the last couple of days here on X that have been caught keying cars, spitting on cars, and the story just goes on and on. People shooting at these Teslas, people doxing these Tesla owners. That should be a crime as well. You shouldn't be able to steal people's privacy. That ought to be an identity theft kind of charge. There ought to be something in the books that says you can't dox people as a choice of vengeance. It says Tim Longbreak has been identified as a man caught on video spitting on a Tesla in Hawaii. According to his message, he lost his job afterward. Hey, I lost my job because of Doge and Musk. Sorry, I am not feeling too happy with the Cybertruck. Happy to send money for a car wash. Please tell your friend no hate for the friend, just Musk. Had a bad moment and we'll make it right with you. Contact me. Okay. Wahoo man spit on the Tesla has been fired. Now, I don't know, did he get fired because he got caught spitting on the car? Or did he get dozed and he spit on the car because of that? I don't know. Kind of a gray area there, I'm guessing. But that's what's really going on. And the guy there's another video clip where a guy had keyed the car. He's on video. They've got him keying a car and then going right in his house. So he'll be getting a knock on the door soon because people are already sending the at Pam Bondi, at AG Pam Bondi. You seen this guy? So they're putting him on blast on Twitter. Don't you worry, folks. Justice will be served. And these three are just the beginning because there's been several attacks in several states on the Tesla automobiles and dealerships, and people are fixing to find out. They done effed around, and now they're fixing to find out. All right, folks, we got one more clip for you, and I'll get out of here, let y'all get back to y'all's busy lives. If you stuck around this long, I do appreciate you coming in and joining the show. Okay, let's see what. I guess I lost the video clip I had. Maybe I need to back up. Bear with me, folks. I had something kind of comical if I can find it. No, I bet not. Keep going. Oh, I know what it was. It was, never mind, folks. We'll call it a day, folks. Didn't mean to leave you hanging there. Like, subscribe, share. Go Patriots. Over and out.